This is rock and roller Stevie Banch, but right now, it's not this guy's music that's bringing him notoriety.
So are you a rocker or are you a rancher?
It's his farm.
Those animals are suffering.
You might call Stevie Banch a shock rocker, but the real shock is what's on his property.
I don't know anything about heads laying around the farm with a bunch of junk.
And his neighbors have had enough.
I just feel sorry for the animals.
Stevie Banch owns Cowbell Dairy in Holly. His farming neighbors say they've never seen a farmer or farm like this one. The barn doesn't have a roof. Chickens and pigs roam around on garbage-strewn ground. His neighbors say they think his animals are starving.
So you just think that this guy's not taking care of his animals?
Oh, yeah.
You think he just doesn't know, or do you think he doesn't care?
I think he doesn't care.
One thing's for sure, some of Stevie Banch's cattle are dying. The proof? Photographs. A warning. What you're about to see is graphic. These photos were taken by Banch's neighbors. This picture, 2 dead cows. Here, a dead calf lies rotting, but it gets worse.
3 cows died, and you just let the pigs eat them.
Pigs are omnivores that will feed on anything, including the carcasses of dead animals. Would you want to eat the pork products that come from these pigs? When the pigs are through, there's not much left, except the heads, which are littering Banch's property. People living near the Cowbell Dairy say at least 8 cows dropped dead over the winter. They've offered Steve Banch hay and feed for his animals. They've contacted animal control, and they've emailed me asking for help.
This is not the norm.
Dr. Kent Ames is a staff veterinarian at Michigan State University. He spent a great deal of time looking at the photos I brought him before rendering an opinion.
I can't tell in these pictures what was the cause of death. The concern that I would have is the disposal of the animals.
Dr. Ames says leaving animals to rot can be dangerous depending on the cause of death. Some diseases can spread to other animals. However, as a vet, he's more concerned with the health of those animals still living. He says the living animals in the photos don't appear too bad, but they sure don't look as healthy as these cattle.
They don't require very much. They need food, they need minerals, and they need water.
This is Pat White. She runs the Lee White Farm, home to 160 Highland cattle.
How many of yours have died over the winter?
None.
Pat is a rancher and a veterinarian. Her animals not only have acres of beautiful grazing land, her husband Larry maintains stockpiles of quality food protected from the elements.
Nutrition is important to people, it's important to cattle.
The Lee White Farm is a lovely place filled with beautiful bovine, a stark contrast to Steve Banch's ranch. Take a look what we saw when we got up close. At least 2 cow heads lay exposed and unburied. Not only is it gross, it's against the law, according to Oakland County Animal Control. Under the Michigan Bodies of Dead Animals Act, deceased cows have to be properly disposed of within 24 hours of their death. Banch has been cited for this and has a court date a few days later. I'm there waiting when the raunchy rancher arrives.
So are you a rocker or are you a rancher?
Well, I guess that's an odd question.
And he's got some odd answers when I show him the photos.
That's kind of gross though, don't you think?
I guess it depends upon who you ask.
I think it's gross.
Yeah, well.
You don't think a couple of dead cow heads sitting out in the elements like that is gross?
Well, those are buried.
They sure weren't buried a few days ago when we shot this video.
What's all this, man? Pigs eating the carcasses?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it's good, good protein source, and it's good to compost and recycle anything on the farm.
Inside court, Animal Control Sergeant Jerry McNair tells the judge Banch ignored his order to bury a dead cow. That's the charge he's facing. The judge tells Banch to have a vet check out his herd before his trial begins later this month. He's pleading not guilty. After court, I asked Stevie Banch if he's taking care of his animals.
What are you feeding the animals?
Well, it depends on what animal it is. You know?
You buy feed? Who do you buy your feed from?
Oh, no, farmers can't buy feed. You'd go broke doing that. You got to grow your own feed.
Well, we flew over his place. Where's he grow his stuff? He's only got a little more than 3 acres, and it looks like much of that's wooded.
And where do you keep your hay?
Well, it depends upon what.
You don't have a roof on your barn, do you?
Well, you're talking about square bales, and those have to be roofed, and round bales can be tarped. That's a different story. That's perfectly.
And you got tarped bales out there?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about.
Banch gets flustered when I keep pressing him, but really, have you ever seen a farm that looks like this?
I don't know anything about heads laying around a farm with a bunch of junk. That wouldn't be on my farm.
No, I showed you the pictures of the heads, man.
Right, but
I saw these heads just the other day. I just saw them the other day.
That would be impossible. That was all taken during the same time when the animals were being properly disposed of, and there's a method to it.
No, those heads I just saw them last week. I saw them probably 3-4 days ago.
That's not true. That's not true.
So if I go out there right now, the heads aren't there?
It's not true.